welcome to the Salvation Army of Auburn youth video. Enjoy!
God didn't have to do this. He didn't have to give so much, but he gave it all when he gave his son. Then Jesus came to save us, came to forgive our every sin, and he gave his life so we could.
this week's memory verse can be found in Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. May God bless the reading of this word.
Oh, hello there, boys and girls. It's good to see you guys. What was that? What are these? Oh, just some old action figures I had laying around my house. But I'm actually going to use them to help tell the story of how we should treat others. Wait a minute. You know what? This is perfect. Because you know what we should have right now? We should have story time. Well, have a seat. Because I'm about to tell you a story called The Least of These. Now, a long time ago, in a kingdom far, far away, there was a king who loved his people. And the people, they loved him back. Now, the king, he saw everybody in his kingdom, he saw them as family. And he always found time to visit them and spend time with them. Well, the king had some friends that lived on the other side of the kingdom. Their names were Billy and Baba. And he sent word to Billy and Baba to let them know that he was going to pay them a visit. Now, when Billy and Baba found out that the king was going to come visit them, they got all excited and they started to get their house ready. And they cleaned their houses, made it spick and span, spotless, and they cooked the finest meals, and they even made freshly squeezed orange juice, all for the king. Now, as time passes and they got ready, Billy got a knock on his door first, and he got all excited. He's like, could this be the king? But when he opened the door, he was disappointed because it was just a poor man. And this poor man was hungry and was asking for food. But Billy told the poor man, look, the food that I have here is for the king, so I cannot help you. Please go away. And he sent the poor man on his way. Just a little while after that, Baba got a knock on his door. And he got all excited. And he was like, could this be the king? But when he opened the door, it was that same poor man. He was hungry and he was begging for food. And Baba looked at him and he says, look, the food that I have here is supposed to be for the king, but since you're hungry, I will give you some. And the poor man was blessed. Now, a couple hours later, Billy got another knock on the door, and he got excited again. He's like, okay, the king could be here. But he was disappointed again because it was another poor man. And he was thirsty, and he was begging for something to drink. And Billy looked at him and said, look, the drinks I have here, it's for the king. I cannot help you. Please go away. And he sent the poor man on his way. Then later after that, Baba gets a knock on his door. And he's excited still. He's like, man, this could be the king. The king is here. But when he opened the door, it was that same poor man that was at Billy's house. He was thirsty, and he was begging for something to drink. And Baba told him, look, this drink that I have here, it's supposed to be for the king, but because you're thirsty, I'm going to give you some. And the poor man was blessed. Now, it's late in the afternoon. Billy and Baba, they're still waiting. Billy gets another knock on the door. And he's still excited. He's like, man, this has to be the king. He has to be here already. But when he opens the door, he's disappointed yet again. It's another poor man. And this poor man, he's cold, and he's asking for something to keep him warm. And Billy looks at him, he's like, man, I'm in waiting an important visit from the king. I don't have anything to give you. Please go away. And he sends the poor man away. Later after that, Baba gets a knock on the door. And right, you guessed it, when he opened up that door, it was the same poor man that was visiting Billy. He was cold, and he was begging for something to keep him warm. And Baba went into his closet and got him a blanket. And the poor man was blessed. Now it's later in the evening, and it's getting late, and I think our friends Billy and Baba don't think that the king is coming. But Billy gets a knock on the door. But he's not too excited anymore. He's been disappointed so many times that he doesn't know what to expect. So he opens the door reluctantly. But he was surprised because when he opened the door, the king had arrived. And he said, Lord King, it's so good to see you. I've been waiting all day for you. Please help yourself. I've prepared food and drink for you. And the king said to Billy, thank you, Billy, but I have to let you know that I'm very disappointed in you. When I was hungry, you gave me nothing to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me nothing to drink. And when I was cold, you gave me nothing to keep you warm. And Billy looked confused. He's like, but king, when did you come to see me? I'm only seeing you now. And the king said this to Billy. He's like, Billy, I know everything that goes on in my kingdom. And everybody in my kingdom, they represent me, even the poor. And he said, whatever you did not do for the least of these brothers of mine, you did not do for me. And because of this, you cannot inherit a piece of my kingdom that I was about to give to you. And then he left Billy's house. Now, Baba gets a knock on the door. And Baba's been waiting all night, and he had faith that the king was going to come, so he was still excited. And he opened up that door. And when he saw the king, he was so excited. And he was like, Lord King, I'm so glad you're here. But I have to apologize because I have hardly any food or drink to give you. And he bowed to the king in shame. And the king said, Baba, please get up. I want you to let you know that I'm very proud of you because when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. And when I was cold, you gave me something to keep me warm. And Baba was confused. He's like, but Lord King, when did all this happen? I'm only seeing you now and I hardly have anything to give you. And the king looks at Baba and he tells him this. He goes, I know everything that goes on in my kingdom. And he goes, everybody in my kingdom, they represent me, even the poor. And I tell you the truth, Baba. Whatever you did for the least of these brothers of mine, you also did for me. And because you did this, you will inherit a piece of my kingdom, and you will live with me in my palace forever. Now, Billy and Baba, they learned an important lesson. See, it doesn't matter if a person is a king or if a person is a poor man. You should treat them and care for them the same. In our memory verse today, it talks about how we are all God's creation, how we are created in God's image. Now see, God looks at us as special. Because we're created in his image, he sees all of us as people who represent him. Just like how the king saw everybody in the kingdom represent him. God sees us all in the same way. So this should help us look at things differently and let us see that how we treat others is how we treat God. So today I want to encourage you to take the time to care for one another and also to look out and care for those in need. That's it for our story time today. Thank you again for watching Auburn Youth Ministries, and we'll see you next week. Oh.